It is Mike Lucy here. Mike Lucy, who used to be from 3V Business Solutions. I've now moved on to bigger and better things. Most notably is I'm now a licensed life and annuity producer. And sorry for the clicking. I'm getting ready to roll here. I want to today share with you a 5 to 10, maybe 15-minute video about simple things that you can do to help improve the performance of your WordPress website for free. It's simple, it's easy, and it's affordable. I'm gonna share with you how and why I came about doing what I'm doing, and maybe it's something that you have experienced in the past, and you might be looking for ways to further optimize your site without spending a bunch of loot. So I'm gonna share with you some experiences I've had in the last 2 or 3 days. Secondarily is our old business, 3V Business Solutions, has been assumed or inherited by Ginger. She's changed the name. It's now 3V Designs LLC, and she's doing a lot of website development and design. She's a graphic designer. So she does beautiful designs, and she puts them on websites, and the beautiful designs are so detailed and beautiful that sometimes the file sizes grow. And what it does is if you put enough of those images on a page or throughout a website, it slows the performance way down. So we're going to talk about a way that I've, in the last 3 days, come up with a solution to that problem. Number one, I wanted something fairly simple, even though I spent 3 days on it. I wanted something simple, I wanted something easy, and I wanted something affordable, AKA free. The reality is, in today's world, it's crazy. We get nickel and dime to death. $10 a month for this service, 50 for that, 30 for this. Next thing you know, there's money going out to all these different places, and it adds up. And then you got to buy the WordPress plugins and this plugin and that plugin and this add-on and this upsell. It just adds up. So if and when at all possible, I look for reliable, trusted, secure ways to use already existing products, plugins in WordPress, in the WordPress world, save a little bit of money, and maybe even time. In this case, I spent quite a bit of time trying to find the best solution. So I wanted to share with you what I came up with as the best solution for me. Now, everyone is different. Every website's different. You may have different needs, and certainly there's going to be really smart tech people out there that are going to nitpick and say, well, Mike, this isn't good, and that isn't good, and this technical reason, and that technical reason. Thank you for the feedback. What I have is I'm very happy with. I've spent a lot of time testing it. I went through myself about 6, 7, 8 different WordPress performance plugins and combinations thereof to try and get the best balance and mix of everything I wanted. So I tried W3, Total Cache, WP, Super Cache, Autooptimize, Hummingbird, Jetpack, you name it, I tried it. Each one had things that were good. Each one had things that were bad. I think I know I came across a good solution for me, maybe a good solution for you. So let's get started. What's the problem? For me, the problem was my new website, which is right here, is about 2 months old. I'm starting to get more and more organic traffic to the website. And in the last week or two, I saw that bounce rates were up, visit times were down, and that can be caused by poor performance of a landing page, or someone clicks something from a social media link, someone clicks something from a search engine, they press the link and people just don't want to wait for a page to load. So they back out and they go on to the next one. And it's lost opportunity is what it is. So I don't want to lose out on opportunity, and I'm pretty certain you don't as well. So I had been wanting to solve that problem, and I took the last 3 days to indeed do so. So the first thing I did is tested the speed of my website. So here's the speed of my website before. I've turned all my stuff off right now, so none of my performance enhancements are running. And we're going to analyze it, and we're going to see what the performance of my website was before any enhancements were made. Now, before these enhancements, I was running W3 Total Cache. I think I was running W3 Total Cache, but there was some just problems. Obviously, there were problems, or I wouldn't look into this further. So I was running between 25 and 35 in that range, depending on how you tested what's going on the website. So as you can see, per the grading scale that they have here on Google, 0 to 49, not good, 50 to 89, good, 90 to 100, great. Truth be told, with a WordPress website, you're rarely going to find any website in the 90 to 100. It might even be never. WordPress is a heavy platform, so getting a WordPress website to perform at that level is going to be extremely challenging. I wouldn't even make it a goal or an objective. If you were to run across someone that were to make it to that goal, it's because they have a humongous server with all kinds of horsepower and bells and whistles, and they're paying for that a lot. And they have some smart people configuring the server and the WordPress installation to make it run like that. Not worth the time and money for a small business. So don't worry about that. Our goal would be, get it in the 50 to 89 range. So, another thing that I like to do is look at, well, where are my competitors and how can I compete with them? So I'm going to look at Term Life to Go, who's one of my competitors. There's a couple other ones, but we're just going to look at this one. We're going to look at what their performance is. And see, they're at a 50. Okay. Now, I know, because I do a lot of competitive intel, I know what kind of installation. I know they use WordPress, and I know all the plugins that they use from reverse engineering it. So we have very similar frameworks, very similar. So he's running at 50. Our goal is to get to at least 50. All right. So the first thing is to hook up a CDN, or content delivery network, for your media and your images. And for my wife Ginger, this is huge. Basically, what you're doing is you're offloading the resource load, the server time required to serve those images. You're taking it off of your server and you're putting it on a server that specializes in delivering content and large multimedia files and other kinds of assets. So your server can just work on pushing the content out there, the words, the design, all that, but all the imagery, all the media, all the multimedia is coming from a different network that does that and only that, and it loads really fast. So content delivery network. 2, free, reputable, and trusted free means of doing so. There's 4 or 5 out there, but only 2 that I would recommend. Number 1 is Cloudflare. Probably 80% of the world that uses a free CDN for WordPress uses Cloudflare. Great. I do recommend it. It's not for me because Cloudflare wants to hijack your DNS. They want you to physically turn over your DNS name servers to them. They manage it for you. I have a big problem with that. Most people don't. I do. I can't stomach the thought of turning my name servers over to a third party. So I don't want to use Cloudflare, and yet I need a CDN. So what did I do? I loaded Jetpack. All right, so the first tool is going to be Jetpack, specifically what I think they call it Photon CDN. So you would go to your add new right here in your WordPress installation, and you would type in, you wouldn't hit upload, you'd type in Jetpack here, or you'd see it's one of the first ones listed, and you'd click install. You'd see the install now. So if you don't have it yet, click install now. After clicking install, it's going to install it, and you have to wait 15 seconds. Then just click activate. So we're going to click activate right now. And you're going to get a screen, something like this, and set up Jetpack. Now, the only thing that I'm using, the only thing that you may want to use from Jetpack is, I got to get it to move. All right, is the content delivery network. Okay. And the setup screen is going to load. You might have to configure your WordPress account. Very simple. Just create a WordPress account. And once you're logged in, this is what you're presented with. And it's a little bit slow. Don't worry about it. I'll narrate a little further while we're waiting for this to load. So when I loaded Jetpack, we're going to go with the free version because that's what we're after. Simple, fast, easy, affordable. Affordable meaning free. So when I loaded Jetpack, I had never used their CDN before. So you're going to get a list of action items to do here. So I recommend, being protected against brute force login attacks, turn on downtime monitoring so that you get notified when your web server goes down, sign in preferences. And then this one here is Site Accelerator right here. It won't be checked for you, but simply click the configure button. And the only thing that we're going to use with this is performance and speed, and we're going to turn on enable Site Accelerator, speed up image load times, and speed up static file load times. Also, it was recommended when I was playing around with this, I did turn on lazy load images. What I noticed is on my both my desktop and my phone is when I open a web page, I myself have a lot of images on my site. So I have a blog roll about halfway down. So all these images right here. So these are blog images, featured images from my blog. These would randomly load and not load. So I'd see like 4 of them would load, and then this one wouldn't. I'd refresh it, and then these 2 would load, this one wouldn't, this one would, this one wouldn't, completely random. So I Google searched that went out there, and I found a bunch of arguments between Jetpack people and consumers. Consumers are saying, hey, it's not working, and the Jetpack people are like, we can't duplicate the problem. So I found 0 solutions to the problem. I said, screw it, it doesn't work. I'm not gonna waste any more time on this. I'm turning it off. So the minute I turned it off, the lazy load of images, everything worked. A little bit slower, but it worked. So what does lazy load mean? Lazy load means on a screen here, it's only gonna load images above the fold. So if this screen right here were to load, the web browser would only load this image, this image, this image, this image, the background image on my header, and the rest of the below the fold images are not yet loaded. So as you scroll down, then additional images would load. It's called lazy load. What it does is it only serves up the media that you need on the exact screen that you're at. So it's a very great way to increase performance on your site. You're not throwing 3 megabytes of images at your site all at once. You're only throwing half a megabyte and then slowly adding the rest over time. Enough of the tech talk. So do not turn on lazy load images. Don't make that mistake. So now I'm gonna go back to admin. So now we have our images offloaded onto a third-party CDN. And let's take a look at how that impacted our performance. We're going to analyze our performance, and it's probably just going to get boosted up a little bit. Maybe a 40, maybe a 35, but I expect it to be a little bit better performance. So where are we at? 31. Actually, it's not that big of a difference. So for whatever reason, it's not that big of a difference, but now we're gonna kick in some super high horsepower here. So the next thing I recommend is the next thing I loaded after trying so many different things out was I loaded WP Super Cacher here. WP Super Cacher, Super Cache. Remember, I was using W3 Total Cache before I went through all this crazy exercise. So W3 Super Cache accomplished for me. I'm using it primarily for, we'll see here in a minute. I set it up like this, enable caching. I recommend going through the simple setup. I selected expert, and then here are the options that I have. I'll scroll down. I followed for the most part what their recommendations were. If it says recommended, I do it. I didn't do this. But then when you get to the advanced mode, that's when this option up here becomes important. So I selected expert, and then these options here: clear all cache files when page or post is updated, extra homepage checks. It basically just checks how often or when your homepage is checked. So if you have like dynamic blog publishing, it's a great thing to turn on. Only refresh content page when comments are made. I don't know if you need that or not. List the newest cached pages on, newest cached pages on this page. So down at the bottom, it'll show a list of newest cached pages. Simply click update status, scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's nothing else you need to do. It's all done here. What was I looking for? So now, that that's turned on, you have all of your caching on. You see CDN, we don't need that. let's go through the rest of these tabs. You don't need CDN because Jetpack, we're using Jetpack for the CDN. Contents, you don't need to do anything here. Preload, I believe nothing there. Plugins and debug. So we just want to make sure enable caching. We're going to turn that on. Click update status. Our caching is now on. Go back to preload. You don't need to do anything here. Plugins, you don't need to do anything here. Now simply go back to the tab Easy and scroll down. Click Delete Cache. And now let's test page speed. And we should have bumped this up a little bit from 31. Last time I thought the CDN was going to bump it up, but it really didn't. So now we have the WP Super Cache on, and we're still at 31. So what we're going to do is, I don't like the way this is going. I'm going to go to my history just to make sure we're doing an apples to apples. And I'm going to clear all of my cached images and files. Once that's done, we're going to retest it. It's going to be hopefully above 31. So actually, let's start over. Open a new window because it really should be at this point in time. Page speed test. It really should be higher than 31. When you turn these two on, click Analyze. When I went through this yesterday as part of finding the right combination of plugins, I know I was higher than 31. 34, it's still not what I would be expecting. So we're at 34. Let's do the last one and see what happens. You should be seeing results better than that right now. So the last one is a plugin called Autooptimize. Right here, Autooptimize. So you would go to Add New, search for Autooptimize, install it. So I'm going to activate this. And this is the one that really will turn up performance for you. So what Autooptimize, what I'm using Autooptimize for is to let's look at all of the crazy technical crap that Google tells us we need to do. Eliminate render blocking resources. So it's going to say, hey, you have all this crap here that's loading before the web page, and this is preventing the web page from loading fast. Do something with it. Fix it. That's saying just fix the problem. That's all Google's saying. Remove unused CSS, and this one's a minor issue. So these are, this is 4 seconds worth of waiting that a customer, consumer, a user has to wait before they start to get content presented to them. So this one right here is going to be this issue is almost going to be completely eliminated by the Autooptimize plugin. So we're going to go to settings, walk through what those settings are. These are the recommended settings. I played around with different settings, and this is what I found to be the best. So Auto-Optimize JavaScript, yes. Aggregate JS files, it just puts them all together in one big file instead of a bunch of little ones, yes. Don't turn that on. It says, do not, only enable this if you know what you're doing. So I didn't even touch it. Load JavaScript early. This is blah, blah, blah. But makes the JS render blocking. That's what we're trying to do, is prevent JavaScript from render blocking. So I didn't select it. Next, CSS. I checked all of them, all 5. I did not select inline CSS because it said it may slow down performance. I selected optimize HTML. I did not select leave comments. And nothing else down here. I selected miscellaneous 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to save these changes. Empty cache. And images, I don't think we need to do anything with that because we've offloaded the CDN to Jetpack. And we've done the lazy loading with WP Super Cache. Critical CSS, this is an add-on service. I actually, when I have a couple dollars laying around some time, I'm going to do this. What it does is it builds you custom CSS, and it helps you differentiate what's render blocking, what's not render blocking, and it does it for you. So right now on the surface, this looks like something I would highly recommend. Extra, I didn't do anything here. Actually, I did this. Combine and load fonts asynchronously with webfont.js. This was very important. The minute that I selected this option here, it actually improved my performance quite a bit. Here's what it is when you're using Google Web Fonts will slow your website down really bad because it's grabbing assets from a third-party site, and for whatever reason, Google doesn't serve them up very fast. So this loads the website first, and you'll see here in a minute what happens is it loads with a generic font, the backup font, and then it refreshes with the Google font. And it's to the naked eye, if you're not paying attention, you might not even know it's there, but it's sped up my site incredibly. Optimize more. I don't know what this is. I think it's like pay for this, pay for that. Yeah, that's what it is. Pay for this, pay for that. So now we're going to refresh the website and see what we have. Now pay attention, and you're going to see the fonts flicker. You're going to see a very generic Arial font. You're going to see the generic Arial font, and then it's going to switch over to my Google Web Font. So watch real carefully, closely. You're going to see a slight flicker in the font. See it? So that little tweak right there actually saved me a lot of performance. And that was one of the things that once I turned it on, I'm like, aha, this was a big one. So that's a very important, impactful change there. So let's go check our performance now. Remember, our competition's at 50. And we are going to be at, drum roll, please. $61. There we go. So there you have it. Those are 3 plugins, all working together to accomplish the goal of making your site perform faster. So let's review them real quick. Number 1, Jetpack for CDN. It's a free CDN. Cloudflare and Jetpack will work great. I do not like Cloudflare because they hijack your DNS name server. Don't worry about it's extra work too. It's a whole lot of extra time to do all of that. You have to update your name servers, wait 24 hours, go through the configuration. Nobody wants to do that. So I recommend Jetpack. Very reliable. It's great. Do not use lazy load from the Jetpack though. Doesn't work. There's a bug. And Jetpack refuses to acknowledge that there's a bug. Second one is WP Super Cache. And that we use for primarily just lazy loading of images. So we use that for the lazy load. Then we also did Autooptimize. And we used Autooptimize to help us manage our JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and loading of our web fonts, our Google Web Fonts. That's it. That's what I recommend. 3 simple things. Load them up. You saw what it did for me. It more than doubled my speed. I'm now crushing my competition. I'm very happy with the 61. There's a couple additional things I'll just share with you that I know I need to address. You may run into the same problem. So as you scroll down and you look at the diagnostics here, there's still going to be some extra stuff, that you need to address. This one primarily. So this one's killing me. These are killing me right now. So Facebook Pixel and Pinterest Pixel are going to hold up a little bit of load time right here. So we have this Pinterest JavaScript file. When I click it, you can see it's pulling the JavaScript file from Pinterest. Apparently, this one doesn't load fast. So this is a render blocking asset. It's actually decreasing my performance. And I'll be honest, I look for ways to turn this off, and I think it's built into my theme. So I'm looking for ways to get rid of it. Facebook right here. So this file, connect.facebook.net. You see there's a bunch of them. So I actually have 3 pixels on this website. So if I get rid of those, it's going to speed it up even more. Maybe 70, 75, but Facebook's a necessary evil. So to detach pixels from your website is probably not smart, but you can live without Pinterest more than likely. So that's it. 3 simple plugins you can use to accomplish all of the things you want to accomplish. Once again, a lot of time, effort, and thought went into this, a lot of testing. I've tried to find one that did everything great. I thought I hit among it with Hummingbird, but Hummingbird has bugs. I was very excited, and then I found a couple bugs, had to shut it down, go back to the drawing board, came up with this. If you want to save a little bit of time, you can go with WP Rocket. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know what it costs nowadays. I just knew I wanted affordable, AKA free. So hope this was helpful. Once again, this is Mike Lucy, ex-3D Business Solution, Principal, ex-software developer, and now insurance, life, and annuity producer. Have a great day. Hope you found this helpful, and maybe we'll be doing some more of these in the future.